Hello, I am Richard Ellis, an Agile and business process consultant. Today, I want to talk about the validity of your current customer data. You have spent years building a data warehouse. You have cleansed and validated your data. You have applied analytics and employed the latest in AI technologies. We build models using all this data to make predictions. Models were tweaked and refined until they could accurately predict the past. If the future is like the past, they're good for predicting that too. That is why we use them. But what happens if the future is different from the past? Because the world has changed. The models that we worked so well for so long no longer make accurate predictions. In March of 2020, the world changed. Some of our data from the last few years became garbage overnight. It had become as useless as yesterday's newspaper. The world has suddenly changed before. In 2008, there was a stock market meltdown. To make sound, firm business decisions, Wall Street firms calculated their value at risk, or VAR. I will not go into here what VAR actually means, but suffice it to say that members of management often didn't know what VAR really meant. Every day, these results were reported to the firm's management committee, who used this information to make company-wide decisions as to how much risk they were willing to take in their trading and investment portfolios. The real problem, though, is the world had changed. The 3 years of historical data used to populate the models had no meaning in a world of wild market swings. Market gyrations like this hadn't been seen since 1999 or even 1987. Some market action hadn't been seen since 1929. As such, the VAR calculations delivered seductively optimistic estimates. Firms were blind as to their true risk exposure, and as a result, some very costly bets were made, even driving some institutions out of business. Jump forward to today. In March, the world changed. 100 million Americans suddenly stayed at home. We no longer went to restaurants. Food in the supply chain that was meant for restaurants had to be repackaged and distributed differently to get to consumers instead of chefs. This shift took months. Untold tons of food went bad. Food and household goods disappeared from store shelves. Even now, 5 months later, many categories still have not completely returned. Has anybody seen Purell at CVS lately? Millions of Americans lost their jobs. People who had never missed a mortgage payment suddenly disappeared. Credit cards and car loans went unpaid. As a business, if you use data from the last few years, you will likely cut your customers off. Never mind they had been with you since 1985. Never mind they had never been late before. Never mind their jobs will all come back as the pandemic runs its course. Your credit algorithms and data tell you that if they miss 3 payments in a row, they are now hopelessly in default. They will never pay you back. It is much better to lose those customers forever, just so you can recover a small fraction of your outstanding in asset recovery. Some banks and other financial institutions have figured out this fallacy. They have put these brakes on these business decision systems that were developed over many years using more quiescent data. They have developed new programs and services to serve customers in this transition and beyond. Others have not. 3 years from now, all of this will be the subject of a Harvard Business Review case study. It will point out how creative destruction propelled some firms to unprecedented growth in the present boom. Firms that believe their data and their AI-honed business decisions have all suffered, the most egregious of which now face congressional hearings. There is an old saying, to err is human, but to really foul up requires a computer. Thanks for watching.